Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Hello. Hi, Samiha. How are you today?
I'm fine, thanks.
All right. Okay, so let's quickly summarize or talk about our last lesson. So in our last lesson, we focused on money, talking about money, and we have some phrases here, some expressions that we use, like, for example, to lend some money to someone, borrow money. When you owe someone money, means you have to pay it back to them. We also talked about the difference between spending money and wasting money. So when you spend money, it means maybe something you need, or maybe something that deserves, or something that's worth the money you're paying. But if you're wasting money, this means maybe it's something you don't really need. It's just a waste of money. So there's a bit of a difference between wasting and spending. We also talked about earning money, when something costs a lot of money. I've never won any money. I lost money. We also talked about the difference between losing money and wasting money. So there is a difference, of course. Wasting it is, you spend the money, you spend it, but you don't spend it wisely. This is the idea. But losing it, maybe you lost your wallet, maybe you lost, I don't know, you put your money somewhere and you forgot where you put it. This is losing money. After that, we talked about grammar. Now, in this lesson, the focus was direct speech and indirect speech. Have you heard of this before, Dua? Direct speech, indirect speech? Did you study it? No? That's cool. Okay. So look at this example. So here, number one, it says, I'm working in a restaurant. Okay. For example, can you see the sentence? I'm working in a restaurant. Now, for example, if I tell you I'm working in a restaurant and you want to say to your friend, so you will say to your friend that I work in a restaurant, you're going to say it in a slightly different way. You're going to say it like this. Can you see it? He said that he was working in a restaurant. Do you get the idea? So when you say it, when you say the story, or when you repeat what I told you, when you repeat it to Samiha, you will make a small change. You won't copy the exact sentence I told you, because the sentence I told you, this is direct speech. Do you get the idea? This is how it's said directly. But when you report it, when you say it to Samiha, you will say it like this. He said he was working in a restaurant. Or you can say, he told me he was working in a restaurant. Do you get the idea? So there's a bit of a change. So this is called reported speech. It's a grammar rule. We talked about it yesterday, reported speech. And it works with different verb forms. It works in slightly different ways. And each time you're going to make a small change to the sentence. So if I take you to the table here, let me show you the table. So here, what we're going to do is we're going to look for all the verb forms that were in direct speech: present simple, present continuous, will, can, and verb to be is am, are, is, going to. So if I take you back to the examples, if you use present simple in direct speech, you will have to change it to past simple, like this example. Can you see this example?
Yeah, I can.
Where is it? The present simple, yes. Number 2, here. I want to work abroad, for example. Can you see number 2? I want to work abroad.
Yeah.
So okay. This is present simple when it's in direct speech. But if you change it to reported speech, do you see what happened here to A? What happened? What do you notice?
Verb change.
Exactly.
Past simple.
So past simple, it became present simple became past simple when you report it.
Yeah.
لما انت بتعودي تدوها لحد تاني بتغيري شويه. هي دي القاعده كلها في النقطه هذه لما انت تعودي تدوها. Do you get the idea? And if you take a look at, this is the first type, هذا النوع الأول اللي هو present simple to past simple. But also present continuous also changes. If you look at the example, the first one we did, I'm working in a restaurant. Can you show me how it changed, Dua?
I'm working in a restaurant.
How does it change when we report it to someone else? In the second half, الجهة
I think C.
You're right. You're right. And what happened? What changed in the verb form? Can you show me what changed?
Was.
Exactly. So here we have I'm working, present continuous, but in the bottom we have past continuous. Do you see this change?
Yeah, past continuous.
So this means present continuous in direct speech, it becomes past continuous in reported speech. Do you get the idea? So this is another way to change. Then let's take a look at will, and let's see how will changes. So let's find an example where we have will. I'll be back next year. This is direct speech. This is the original sentence. I'll be back next year. How can we change this, or how does it change in reported speech? Can you look for an example?
Okay, just a minute.
Sorry, not next year, next summer. I'll be back next summer.
E.
Correct. And how did it change? What do you notice?
I think he had be back next summer.
There's another kind of D here, but it's not had. What kind of D is this? Is it had or is it another one?
Would.
Yes.
Maybe.
You're right. Would.
He would be back.
And when you contract it, he would be back. It becomes he'd be back. He'd be back. So what happened is, this means that if you're using the will in direct speech, you're gonna change will to would.
To would. Okay.
So this is rule number 3. So until now we did 3. Present simple becomes past simple in reported speech. Present continuous becomes past continuous in reported speech. Will becomes would. Let's take a look at can. Let's see how we change can. All right, so here we are. So it says I can save about £100 a week. So this is direct speech. Where is the reported speech for this one? Can you find it?
D.
Right. What happened? What changed here?
Could.
Can became could, right?
Yeah.
All right. So this is change number 4. So we have 4 changes so far. So this means can becomes could. And the last one is going and are going, or am going, for example. Let's see how they change. So let's look for an example that has is going or are going. Okay, so I'm going to do voluntary work. So this is the original sentence, direct speech. Where's the reported one, Dua?
B.
Right. So in B, it says, he told me that. So what changed?
Was going.
That's it. So is going became was going. So this past continuous.
Yeah.
Sorry, not past continuous. Past plus going to, which means was, were, معها going to. So this is the main focus of what we talked about yesterday. This rule is reported speech. يعني فكرتها بالعربي تعويض الدواء. لما أنت بتعودي لحد تاني بيصير في تغيير شوية. قال لي إنه هو مشى. في العربي إحنا في الليبي نقول فيها زيها بالضبط. أنا بنمشي للمدرسة. أحمد قال لي إنه هو بيمشي. في العربي ما فيش تغيير، ما نديروش في تغيير، لكن في الإنجليزي لما بتعودي في تغيير هتصير. This is the idea. All right, so this is what we talked about, and then we also talked a little bit about the verbs that we used when we reported, because I'm sure you noticed when we report, it means when we say it to someone else. This is the meaning of report. We use a verb here. Can you see this verb?
Yeah.
So you have to say he said or he told me and so on. So we're going to talk a little bit about the difference between say and tell, because we use these two to report something to someone else. So the rule says say, and you have to choose which one has an object and which one always has an object and which one never has an object. Let's look at the example here. So he said that he was going to Spain, for example. And this means with said, we can't say said me. So say, does it always have an object or does it never have an object, the verb say?
I think verb said.
Yeah, say and said are the same thing. It's the same thing.
Say.
Yeah, but the issue is السؤال كله يسأل عن موضوع الobject المفعول به الobject. So my question for you is, do we use an object when we use say or no object?
No object, I think.
That's it. You're right. Because we cannot say he said me or he said us or he said, right? Doesn't work. We can't say.
This is not object.
Exactly. So this means we never use an object with the verb say. All right?
Subject, I think.
Object this. Me object. Subject هي الأولى he. He subject.
He.
Yeah.
He said.
He said, she said, they said. ماشي الحال. لكن القصة كلها في اللي بعد said. هل نقدر نقول he said me ولا he said us?
No.
No. هذه القصة. So this means with the verb say, we can never use an object. ما يمشيش الحال. You can't use an object. But with the verb tell, take a look at the examples here with tell. Can you see?
He told me.
He told me that he was going to Spain. But can we say he told he was going to Spain without an object? Can we do it without? No.
No.
So this means we always have to use an object when we use tell or told, right? That's the idea.
Right.
So even though the meaning is almost the same, they're not very different, say and tell, but in grammar, they're a bit different. With say, never use an object, but with tell, always use an object. He told me, he told them, he told her, he told us, he told it, okay, so this is the idea. All right, and the last part we talked about, Dua, is part C here. It says fill in the gaps with the correct subject pronoun or possessive adjective. So here we have a little exercise. So in the first gap, I want you to think of a suitable pronoun, okay? A subject pronoun. And in the second gap, I want you to think of a suitable possessive adjective. So for example, I don't see my uncle very often. This is direct speech. But if we want to report it, احنا بنعاودوا الكلام بنقولوا Ian said that. Ian of course is a boy's name, Ian. So معناها كيف حنعاودها الجملة هذه؟
That he didn't say.
صح. Correct. The first one is he. Ian said that he didn't see
his uncle.
That's it. That's actually correct. Exactly right. So لما احنا بنعاودوا جملة Ian حنقولوا Ian said that he didn't see his uncle very often. رغم أن جملته الأصلية هو Ian لما قالها لنا he said I don't see my uncle very often.
هو كان يحكي على نفسه.
بالضبط. هو هذه القاعدة كلها عن الموضوع هذا. الشخص اللي يحكي على نفسه احنا بنعاودوا كلامه لطرف ثالث. تعويض دوا كلها قرمة يعني. وهذه فكرة القاعدة reported speech. Okay. Can you do the same thing in number 2? Can you do the same thing?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't see my nephew very often. Angela said that she didn't see her nephew very often.
Exactly right. This is the idea. All right, so this is a quick summary of what we talked about yesterday. Now,
Thank you, teacher.
You're welcome, no problem. But when I send you the recording, it will be easier. You can take a look, and if there's anything that's not clear, just you can ask me.
Oh.
All right, now we're gonna listen to the rest of the conversation. But before we listen to the rest of the conversation, let me also play the first one. So because here in the beginning, we're gonna hear the original conversation between Ian and his uncle, اللي هم الأجزاء هذول اللي كنا نتكلم عليهم, the first part. And then we're gonna listen to Mike, the uncle, talk to his wife. Okay, this is when he's going to report everything that he heard from his nephew. He will report to his wife, and then we'll see the rest of the story. So let me take you to the CD. Track 37 and track 38. Track 37. Okay, let's listen.
Track 37.
Ian! Ian!
Oh, Uncle Mike! Hi!
Well, congratulations! After 6 years of study and training, you're finally a lawyer. Wonderful news.
Thanks.
It's always good to have a lawyer in the family.
Why? Are you planning a life of crime, Uncle Mike?
Oh, no. Not yet, anyway. So, are you looking for a job?
I've already got one.
Oh, that's good.
Yes, I'm working in a restaurant.
A restaurant?
Yes, I'm a waiter there.
A waiter?
Yes. I want to work abroad, so I need to save some money quickly.
Where are you going?
I'm going to work in Canada.
Oh, so you're going to be a lawyer in Canada?
No, I'm not qualified in Canada, but I'm going to do voluntary work there with some brilliant environmental lawyers.
Oh, helping the environment. That's good.
But I'll be back next summer, so your family lawyer won't be away for long.
Who's paying for all this?
The people in Canada will pay for everything when I'm over there, but I have to pay for my flight. That's why I'm working at the restaurant. I can save about £100 a week.
How much is the flight going to cost?
Okay, this is the first conversation between Ian and his uncle. Now we're gonna listen to the conversation between his uncle and his wife.
Guess who I saw in town?
Who?
Ian. He's a qualified lawyer now.
I know. That means he's going to earn lots of money. Has he got a job yet?
Yes, he has.
Oh, that's good.
He said he was working in a restaurant.
In a restaurant?
Yes. He's trying to save some money.
What for?
He said that he wanted to work abroad.
He's going abroad?
Yes. He told me he was going to work in Canada.
Why Canada? Have they got more crime there than we have?
No, of course not.
Well, he can probably earn more money over there.
Actually, he told me that he was going to do voluntary work.
Oh, this is getting worse and worse. After all the money he spent on his studies, and now he's going to do voluntary work.
But it's voluntary work with environmental lawyers. He wants to do environmental law in the future. I think it's wonderful. Well, anyway, he said that he'd be back next summer.
Right.
He told me he could save about £100 a week, but I don't think that's possible. And he said the flight was £600.
Oh, he's wasting his money.
Okay. Now let's listen to the rest of the conversation. But before you listen, I want you to take a look at these 4 questions, because these are the questions we're going to answer now. Okay, can you quickly read these questions? 1, 2, 3, 4. And when you're ready, just let me know so I can play the track.
Okay.
Okay, so let's listen.
Track 40.
Oh, he's wasting his money.
Oh dear.
What's the matter?
Well, he said his flight was £600.
Yes, I heard that. But it's his money.
Well, he told me he didn't earn very much.
How much?
He said he was earning £190 a week.
That's nothing.
I know. And I said it was going to take him months to save enough money.
It certainly is.
And he said he was working 7 days a week. I don't think he should work that hard. Do you?
No. I'll talk to him. I'll tell him he's wasting his money and his time going to Canada.
What's
the matter now?
Well, I told him we'd pay for his flight.
What?
He said he could pay us back next year.
Well, that's okay. We can lend him the money.
I told him it was a present from us both. So I transferred £600 into his bank account.
What? So he's not wasting his money, he's wasting ours.
Now, dear, calm down. It's not the end of the world.
Okay. So first of all, how much is the flight? How much does it cost, Ian's flight to Canada?
About 600 baht.
Right, correct. So about £600. And how much does he earn? How much does he make per week?
$100.
Just 100?
109 maybe. 90.
Okay. What do you think, Dua? How much does Ian earn a week? Can you remember the number? He mentioned how much he earns, how much he makes. Do you hear it?
I think 100.
Okay.
Pound.
All right, okay. And what did Mike do this afternoon? What did he do, Mike?
He transferred £600 to Ian
Exactly.
bank account.
That's right. That's what he did. And what does his wife think of that?
She thinks he's wasting them,
Yeah,
their money.
he's wasting his time and his money to go to Canada.
That's correct. Yeah. Angela doesn't like the idea of Ian going to Canada, but I think she hates the idea of Mike sending the money even more.
Yeah.
She wasn't happy at all about it. Anyway, so actually he makes 190. He can save 100 from each week, but the total, he makes 190 pounds. So maybe 90 he needs it for his daily expenses, things he spends. Maybe his bus fees, I don't know, credit cards, his phone credit, I mean, things like this. Because earlier in the first exercise, we mentioned that he can save. Can you see it? I can save about 100 pounds a week. Yeah.
Yes.
So he can save 100, but the total is 190.
190.
But of course, he cannot save the whole 190 because he still needs to spend in his daily life. This is the idea. All right, very nice. So we know how the conversation ended. So what we want to do here together in part B, it says, what did Mike say to Angela? Write the sentences in reported speech. Use the verbs in brackets. All right, so what we want to do is we want to change all the sentences that Ian and Mike said. We want to report them to Angela. Okay, so we want to imagine that here's Angela. So we have Angela, this is Angela. And we're gonna report everything that Mike said and everything that Ian said. We're gonna report it to Angela. So let's start from the first one, okay? It says here, Ian, I don't earn very much. So how can we report this, Samiha, using the verb tell?
He told me that he doesn't earn very much.
Okay, close. But what happens to present simple and when we change it to reported speech? What happens to it? Let me remind you here. Take a look at this.
He didn't. I'm sorry.
Exactly, right? Can you see the first example? Do you see what happened?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so there's a bit of a change, correct. So this means number 2, let's write it here in the top. This way we can write our answers. So let's write our answers here. So number 1 is already answered. Let's write number 2. He told me that he didn't earn very. Okay, Dua, what about number 3? It's going to take you months to save enough money. Here, Dua, by the way, you're going to report yourself. كأنك بالليبي بتقولي أنا قلت له حياخذ منك هالوقت. أنا قلت له. You get the idea because Mike هو اللي يعود في الدوة واللي مرته. You get the idea?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Number 3.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to take you a month. Enough money.
First of all, what's the subject? أول حاجة. Is it he or is it I? Because number 3, this is Mike, not Ian. Mike اللي هو العم. The uncle is Mike.
سوري بس نقطع علي الاتصال نت.
Okay, no problem. So my question is the subject in number 3, is it I or is it he?
In number 3,
Yes.
I think I.
Correct. You're right.
I.
صح. And the verb اللي يعطينهولنا بين البراكتس بين الأقواس.
I was going.
But take a look. انت تو كأنك محنته متخيلوا روحنا مايك تو. متخيلوا روحنا مايك ومنعاودوا الكلام اللي قاله لنا اللي قلنا لي شو اسمه إيان.
I said.
بالضبط. That's it.
I
Correct.
said.
تو بدي التغييرات.
It was going.
Right. Correct. And the rest is the same. Take you months to save enough money. Very nice. Okay, what about number 4, Samia?
He said he was working.
That's right.
7 days a week.
He was working 7 days a week. That's right. And number 5, Da? And number 5 is like number 3 because Mike is speaking here.
Yeah. I said.
Correct.
I said he could.
Sorry, number 5 عندنا tell.
Okay, number 5. I think number 6. Okay. I told.
Told who?
We would.
Correct. We would صح لكن told شنو قلنا عليها بكري في القاعدة فيها حاجة ناقصة.
بس لحظة. Told me. I told he. Sorry.
Okay. But is it he or is it عدلها شوية؟
بس لحظة.
كأنك بتقول أنا قلت له.
مايك هو اللي
مايك اللي يتكلم.
أنا قلت له.
أيوة.
I told him.
Exactly. I told him. وكم لازم أدرتها قبل شوية.
We would.
That's it. And when we use we would together as a contraction كيف تولي؟
Apostrophe D.
How do we say it?
We would.
لما تختصرها بيتغير حتى نطقها بتولي we'd.
Okay.
Okay. We'd. And the rest is the same, right? I told him we'd.
Yeah, the same.
All right. That's correct. I told him we'd pay for the flight. طبعا هنا I told him عندك that في that اختيارية حسب الرغبة. تبي تحطها okay. ما تبيش it's okay. بس مرات تسمعها يعني. I told him that we'd pay. So ممكن مرات تسمعها. بس هي اختيارية. Okay, number 7 سميح. 6, sorry.
He said he could pay us back next summer.
That's it.
Next year.
All right, so this is the idea of reported speech. I don't think it's too difficult, but I remember many students didn't like reported speech. Many students thought it was too confusing. I don't know. I don't think it's too confusing. You just change everything to the past, and that's all you do, I think. But this is the idea. They use it quite a lot in the news when they want to report what someone said. So they use it in conversations. فموجود يعني أحيانا يستعمل في reported speech. Anyway, so we have all the answers correct now. And let's listen one last time so we can check our answers. خلينا نشوفوا لو قالوهم هذو كلهم ولا لا. Let's take a look. Let's confirm.
Track 40.
Oh, he's wasting his money.
Oh dear.
What's the matter?
Well, he said his flight was £600.
Yes, I heard that. But it's his money.
Well, he told me he didn't earn very much.
How much?
He said he was earning £190 a week.
That's nothing.
I know. And I said it was going to take him months to save enough money.
It certainly is.
And he said he was working 7 days a week. I don't think he should work that hard. Do you?
No. I'll talk to him. I'll tell him he's wasting his money and his time going to Canada.
What's
the matter now?
Well, I told him we'd pay for his flight.
What?
He said he could pay us back next year.
Well, that's okay. We can lend him the money.
I told him it was a present from us both. So I transferred £600 into his bank account.
What? So he's not wasting his money, he's wasting ours.
Now, dear, calm down. It's not the end of the world.
Okay, so this means all of the answers are correct. But I don't know, have you noticed this? Did anyone notice something here? Do you think maybe you need to change it?
Take him.
Yes, exactly. لأنه تو يعود في الدول اللي مرته هو right؟ يعني كأنك بتقولي أنا قلت له إنه حياخذ منه هلبا وقت حياخذ منه فقلت له كلها بيبدأ على الغايب يعني. You ما نقدرش نستعملوها هنا لأنه قاعد يدو لمرته هو تو. So I think this is a little mistake we need to change. So take him. I said it was going to take him. All right, now everything is fine. Okay, very good, very good. Let's take a look at exercise number 7. Let's see what we have. Okay, so we have something a bit separate, but it's kind of nice. Here, we want to talk about the letter H. I'm sure you noticed that we have a few words in English where the H is silent, right? I don't know if you've noticed this, but take a look at these words. Can you read these words?
Our. Onset.
Our.
Honor.
Honor.
Onset.
Yeah,
Honest.
Honest, honor, and our. What do you notice in all three of them?
H is silent.
The H is silent. But did you know that in all the other languages, all the Latin languages, French, Italian, Spanish, Portuguese, all of them, the H is always silent. Italian ما عندهمش H بوكل حرف في الألفابت الإيطالي ما فيهاش H أصلا. الثانيات الباقيات كلهم honest. كلهم silent. ففي تاريخ طويل لل H silent هذه في اللغة الثانية. So whenever these words come in English, يصير لهم أن حتى هم أحيانا يولوا silent. But what we're going to talk about, what we're going to talk about here in this rule is something a little different. مش حنتكلم على قصة اللي هم دائما silent زي مثلا. أيوة مش أيوة بالضبط مش حندوى اللي هم silent already. أنا مجرد ذكرت هذه لأن نوضحكم أن الحرف H في وراء قصة يعني زي قصة حرف L could walk should اللي هو silent L ففي قصة يعني But here in number 7, we want to talk about words where it's not really words, it's a location actually, it's the position. It's the position of the H here which affects its pronunciation. All right. So sometimes you will hear the H really clearly, but sometimes you can't hear it. It's like it's silent, but it's not exactly silent, but it's a bit different. It's a bit light. This is what we want to mention. So it says, listen to these sentences. Notice when we don't say the letter H. So here in these situations, the letter H is going to be very, very light. It's not going to be very clear. So let me play the track for you, and I want you to notice. And I want you to pay attention here. So let's play the track.
Listen to what you expect to hear and what you often hear.
He said his flight was £600. He said his flight was £600.
Did you notice a big difference or not a big difference? Or is it the same, the two ways? What did you feel, Samir? Not the same?
Not the same,
Like,
but not a big difference.
stages.
That's it. This is the idea. المرة الأولى لما أقراها بالطريقة اللي زي ما مكتوبة بالضبط، فقاعد يضغط على ال H. بس في الطبيعي قال لك في ال everyday language مش حتسمعها بالشكل هذا. حتسمعها أخف، يعني بدل ما he said his مش حتسمعها he said his كأنه في لينك هنا. He said his flight was £600. 600 كأنه من الاس بتاع الاكس خشينا طول في ال100. هنا نفس الشيء كأنه من الدي بتاع said خشينا طول في الاز. He said his flight was 600. الهام شبه اختفت ما راحت. And there is a rule, of course, when this happens and when it doesn't happen. Now, it says we usually say H after a vowel sound. If it comes after a vowel sound, you will hear it clearly. You will hear it completely. Yes, I heard that. Heard. Huh. It's clear. But if it's after a consonant, sometimes it's very light. We can lend him. There's no ha. I'm not making a ha sound. We can lend him the money. Lend him. Not lend him. Lend him. If you say lend him, it's okay. لكن أحيانا في السرعة maybe native speakers won't emphasize the H. هذه قصة يعني قصة ال H مرات تريح. In part C, listen again. I don't think we need to do that, but this is the idea. So the letter H, very quickly, let me repeat the rules. If it comes after a vowel, it's normal. You'll hear it clearly. But if it comes after a consonant, sometimes it will be very soft. It will be very light. You won't hear it clearly. This is the idea. Okay, so now write sentences about your life. Work in Paris, remember. This is nice. I think one of you will write the sentence and the other one will report it. Okay, very good. Okay, so let me explain this exercise. So here in this exercise, we have a few sentences and we want to complete them any way we want, okay? So you can say, for example, I'm working in a restaurant at the moment. You can say, I play football every day, or I study English every weekend. I can drive a car quite well. I can't speak French very well. Next week, I'm going to Malta. I don't like cuisine. when I'm old, I think I'll live in Spain. I often sleep late. These are just random examples. But what we want to do is one of you, or here I have a better idea. Let's divide them. This way, each one has a few examples. So this means, Samiha, you can do the first half. You can give us your examples, and then Dua will report your examples to me. So it's as if I can't see them, okay? So you're going to give us your examples and Dua is going to report them. And after that, Dua is going to tell us a little bit about her routine and Samiha will report her examples to me. Okay, so.
Okay.
And you don't have to make your sentences complicated, just simple routines. Think of the first verb you can think of, just do it, no problem. All right, so let's start with Samiha's examples. And you can do the first one too. I'm working in a restaurant, you can change it about your life. Okay, you can start, Samiha.
Okay. I study English every day.
Okay. But what about the first example? I'm working. Can you change it to talk about yourself?
Okay. I'm learning.
Good.
I'm learning English at the moment.
Okay. I'm learning English at the moment. That's good. وجهة تانية نحط فيها الريبورت. Okay. I'm learning English at the moment. Okay. What about the second one?
I go to the gym every day.
Okay.
I can cook very well.
Okay.
I can't drive a car very well.
Okay. Now, Dua, can you report these sentences to me? And you can, it's up to you. If you want to use told, no problem. If you want to use said, no problem.
Okay. She said she was learning English at the moment.
Nice. Okay. What about the next one?
She told me she was go.
What's the past of go?
Went.
Yes, that's it.
She went. Yeah.
Okay, very nice.
She told me she could cook very well.
And the last one?
She told me she can't drive. She couldn't drive very well.
All right. Okay, now what about your sentences? The ones in the bottom. Yeah, can you see the four ones here in the box? Can you think of some sentences?
Yeah. Next weekend, I'm going to the library.
Oh, right, that's right. Mhm.
I
And-
don't like swimming.
Okay. Good. Mhm.
When I'm old, I think I will travel.
Okay. Oops. Let me just make the box a bit bigger. Oh, ooh. Oops. Let me return your example. Where did your examples go? Okay, sorry, I think we have to repeat our exams. So next week I'm going
Okay.
to the library. I'm going to the library. To the library. I don't like swimming. Swimming. When I'm older, I think I'll travel, right? That's what you said?
Right.
Mhm. And the last one?
I sometimes
Mhm.
read novels.
Nice. Okay, Samiha, can you report Dua's examples, Dua's sentences? Can you report them back to me?
Okay. She said she was going to the library next week.
Right, that's right. That's right. So she said she was going to the library next week. Okay. And the next one?
She
Mhm.
told me that she didn't like swimming.
Okay.
She told me when she was older, she think she'd travel.
When I'm old. Hmm. Okay, so we have an interesting example here. I think we need to make a few changes.
She told me when she
Mhm.
was old, she think she'd travel.
How would you change it, this example? When I'm older, when I'm old, هي المفروض when I'm old. معلش ما بعرفش أجدد older, old براحة. When I'm old, I think I'll travel. How can we report this?
I think, okay, just a minute. I think she told me
Mhm.
when she was old, she thought she will travel.
She told me when she told me. I think لو نبدو بالwill أول حاجة هي الأحسن صح؟ So كيف نديرها؟ والباقي خلاص زي ما هي. لأن هو التغيير الرئيسي بتصير غادرة مع الwill بس. الwill وال
She would travel.
وبعدين باقي كيف بتقولها؟
When She was old.
But can we say when she was old?
Just a minute.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
التغيير الأولى درتها كلها صحراء. Mm-hmm.
Just a minute.
What do you think, Sami? Here's a tip.
Like my first answer, I think.
Can you see this first part? Don't change it. There's no change here. The only change is going to be will.
You told me.
Can you repeat it again, Dua, your first answer, the one that you just told me a few minutes ago?
Repeat my first answer.
Mm-hmm. Not the very first one, the last one. I mean, sorry.
Okay. She would travel.
That's it. لحد هنا توصح. She told me she'd travel. الثاني هذا زي conditional. When I'm old كأنه conditional بنعودوها زي ما هي وخلاص مش حيصير لها تغيير. I think لأن زي تعبيرك وخلاص مش it's not a main verb. We can remove it بكل. She traveled when she is old. خلاص. You get the idea.
Yeah.
لأن لو منديروها بالطريقة الأولى ما تركبش when I was old مش هو الفعل الرئيسي المقصود في الجملة. She traveled when she's old. Okay, what about the last one, Da? العكس سميحة. I sometimes read novels. How can we report this?
She said she read it.
What's the past of read?
Read.
That's correct.
Read.
And the spelling is the same, right? Yes. She said she sometimes read novels. She said she sometimes read novels.
No.
Okay, so this is the idea of reported speech and how you can change sentences. I think it would be a good idea if you could do a few exercises in the workbook tonight, if you can. This way you can.
Okay.
I think you'll get used to it. If you do a few exercises, it will stick, and you will always remember how to use it. It's like a little game. You change to the past, except when you have trick sentences like this one. When I'm old, because this is like first conditional. When I'm old, I think I'll had a first condition and عندنا present. فكر فيه first conditional.
Yeah.
And at present هنا I'm old. You are present. وبعدين ال will plus infinitive. تركيبة the first conditional. Anyways, so that's all for tonight. In our next lesson هنتكلم على second conditional. هيكون موضوعنا. think it's very nice. All right, so that's all for tonight. I'm sorry for the short lesson,
Thank you.
but I have to go out, unfortunately.
No problem. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
teacher.
You're welcome. Have a
Good
great
night.
weekend and good night.
You
Good night.
too. Good night.
Bye.